We'll be very quick.
Friends of the vlog, welcome back. How I've missed you so. This is a Blue Sky soda. There's no sugar and they are delicious. As some of you know, I just went on an internship in Philadelphia for 4 days. I met up with Million Mile Sprinter. I went to his Sprinter compound and learned all about working on T1Ns. It was a blast and I learned so much. Thank you so much, Joel. It was an awesome opportunity and I'm so glad that it worked out the way it did. I learned some things while I was there that kind of made me want to make this video. I hope this video can help all sorts of people out there that are either looking to pursue van life or are already pursuing it now. There are some things that get very commonly overlooked when it comes to van conversions, and I just want to talk about it and make it easier for a lot of people out there. So converting a van is one of the most fun and satisfying projects of all time. It is very rewarding, and watching the progress happen right before your eyes is addicting. But it becomes very easy to push aside or forget about the things that are the most important when it comes to doing a van conversion. That being your engine, your suspension, and just the overall operating condition of your vehicle, period. Bones first. So something I learned from many months on the road is peace of mind is everything. If you are driving through Death Valley and you are so concerned because you know your vehicle has a problem or may have a problem, you are not okay. You are freaking out the whole time. There was a time we got towed in Utah in the Salt Lake Flats, and it cost us $500 because I did not check my hoses often enough, and a hose exploded. We lost all of our coolant. We couldn't go anywhere. So for example, when I say bones, if you were to break your leg and 2 weeks later decide you wanted to run a marathon, I mean, it would go terribly. You would probably break your leg again. So is that a good idea? Heck nah, dude. I guess what I'm saying is, don't expect your van to make a, I don't know, 20,000 mile long trip if your frame is rusted out and your tires are rotten. If you guys have any questions about getting your own van, if you're purchasing your first van or anything like that, please leave a comment down below and I'll try to answer any questions you have. Something I have seen quite a few times is people putting so much money into an awesome conversion, completely overlooking their engine and just the operating state of their vehicle, hitting the road and it being the biggest disaster of all time. I have seen it so many times. They spend months sometimes trying to just get their van right. Literally, your entire trip will be ruined if you do not take the right precaution with the operating state of your vehicle. And I promise you, if you don't think you're a mechanic or anything like that, you can do this stuff. I promise. Check your oil, check your air filter, look underneath your van, look at your tires. Just inspect everything that you can possibly think of, and I assure you that goes a incredibly long way. These Sprinter vans, specifically the ones from 2002 to 2006, are almost 100% impossible to get worked on. It takes Sprinter specialists to work on these vans and do it correctly. I'm not trying to scare you out of getting one of these. I highly recommend this van. All I'm saying is do your research, know what you have, know what you're getting, and be aware of all the things that you're putting into your conversion, because putting a ton of money into a van that's either one, not worth it, or two, has a bunch of problems is gonna cause you a major headache. I just want everyone to have the best experience possible, because there's a lot of things that I have learned from van life, and some of them you just have to learn the hard way, but I'm trying to help you guys in the long run so you can avoid some of the things that I have been through in the past. All right, so let's say you just pulled up somewhere in your van. You get out, you walk around, you look back at your van, you're like, dang, that thing is sick. And you notice there is something wet on the ground underneath it. It's probably just the AC, right? It's hot. You keep walking. It turns out there was a tear in your coolant hose. You didn't bother looking. You drove miles and miles into the middle of nowhere and get stranded. It stinks. Always check. Just check. It's worth it. Mechanical issues don't fix themselves. So if you're hearing a noise or you feel like something's going on, definitely check it out. And if you do plan to go out somewhere gnarly like Arizona or Utah or Death Valley, things like that, I do highly recommend bringing extra things like fuel line clamps, regular hose clamps, extra hose in general, extra oil, extra coolant, things like that. Alright, so we just had dinner. Perks of having an oven in your van is incredible, by the way.
Tots for days.
Another thing that I wanted to mention, one of the things that's super important to having the longest road trip possible is having tools with you. Tools are very crucial. One tool I can highly recommend is a very long flathead screwdriver to fix hose clamps. That is something we did, or I did the most of on the road.
Do you hear that?
Yeah, the one thing that I did the most of was adjust hoses, swap hoses, fix busted hoses. That was a very common thing. That does kind of apply to your vehicle and how old it is and what kind of hoses were in it before. But
it would have been nice like if we had maybe extra hoses.
Yeah, definitely have some tools. Have some sockets. If you have a Mercedes, have a bunch of Torx bits. Have an open-end wrench. Have a kit of open-end wrenches. Just anything that you can get. You could even just get like a basic tool kit and probably be better off than most people. Knowing how to use tools a little bit is definitely something that you may want to consider before you hit the road and do a super long trip. Another thing, especially when you're looking at vans, like you're gonna buy a van, you're gonna want to know the gross vehicle weight rating. That is the overall weight capacity that the vehicle can hold. Each axle in your vehicle also has a different weight rating, so keep that in mind. But yeah, when you're doing your build, don't overload it, don't stress out your engine or your suspension, and keep it happy. And that also comes down to tires. You're gonna need E-rated tires. Those are rated for high weight capacities. You're also gonna want a tire that can inflate to 80 PSI because, well, depending on how heavy your load is. For us, since we have a really heavy build, I have to inflate the rear tires to 80 PSI or they squash down and get pretty dangerous.
What does E-rated mean?
E-rated is like, they go in stages with letters for weight rating. E is like the highest weight rating, like, I think. I don't know if it's the highest, but it's up there. We got stuck in the mud in Missouri pretty bad, but
But that was kind of.
That was like bad. That was.
There was a 4-wheel drive truck that
Yeah.
tried to save us, and it got stuck too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they did really good. We do have a problem with them cupping now, and they are wearing out. One of them's wearing out on the edge and it has like lumps in it, so that kind of stinks. But good tires are super crucial. If you're taking your vehicle to Mexico or like, dude, anywhere in that region, it's a whole different ball game. We could probably do a whole separate thing about going to Mexico, because it's next level, and it's really, really hard on your vehicle, and there are so many things that you need to be prepared for. Yeah, it's gnarly.
I would say, like, as like a girl, like if I was gonna do this alone, I would have probably been screwed multiple times. Like, pretty much. Like, if I was like without Zach and I would like looked under the hood, I would like have no idea what I was looking at. So maybe if you're like that, if you're a boy or a girl and you're like gonna go travel pretty far and you have like a Sprinter like ours that is kind of hard to get worked on, maybe like have someone talk you through some like main things that you can check every time and have like a checklist that you know what to look for.
Yeah.
Or just like, you know, research what to look at and like common things that could go wrong so that you just have like a general idea, because I would have no idea.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of times where we were like in Mexico, really far from anyone who could work on our van, so like the only option we had was ourselves, pretty much.
And things happen. Like, no matter how prepared you are, sometimes things just happen. And you gotta be open to that, and you gotta take it head on.
Yeah, like when the van broke down and we'd been driving it for how long? Like through Lake Tahoe for like months at this point, and everything was fine until we're the farthest point from like civilization in the middle of the salt flats and we had to get towed. But it's like you just kind of have to like almost expect it, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's kind of easy to make the best of it when you have your house here and you can just go to sleep on the side of the road if it's like that bad, or like do what you gotta do, but
Totally.
just expect crap to happen pretty much.
Yeah. I actually learned a really good way to fix a split hose from Joel. I may not be remembering all the things. I feel like it was 3 things, but regardless, the fishing line, you want a ton of it because you can wrap a ton of it around the hole, and it creates a thread, because pipes are, or hoses are like threaded with like,
Oh yeah.
you know? And so when you create that thread, not only does it like strengthen it and re-thread it, but it gives the tape something to stick to, and yeah. So that's really cool. So yeah,
Have duct tape.
have duct tape and fishing line. And then another thing is, if you ever have a hose that breaks like somewhere in the middle-ish, you can get a pipe, whether it's a metal pipe or a plastic pipe or whatever, and cut the hose in half. And if you have extra hose clamps, you can put that pipe in the middle and then clamp, yeah, the two ends together. So, but yeah, to sum things up, van life is one of the best things ever. It's also one of the most stressful things ever, and it can be very gnarly. Very gnarly. It really, really teaches you a lot about how you respond to things, expectations versus reality. A lot of good lessons, definitely.
I feel like for me, it's made me like not stress about a lot of like dumb stuff that I would have stressed about before, because I'm like, I know what it's like to drive through like a dirt road in Mexico for 6 hours, like, you know.
Yep.
So now it's like, whatever.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for another epic vlog. Please like this video because it supports us tremendously. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment down below. And definitely mention if you feel like we missed anything. Please share your experiences with van life, and yeah, just say what's up. So until the next one, keep the stove alive and keep on charging, amigos.